welcome. Thank you for joining us. I wouldn't like to waste so much of our time because we already have our
that can be brought up to address the IAS system. So our number one solution and then I can look at their profile, I can look at their pictures, I can look at their family information, where it's from, who it's from, Anambra, it's from Ndigbo, it's from Oyo State, it's from this, from that, and then I can decide that, okay, I want to go with this person. Okay, I can accept you to come and, do apprenticeship under me. So the platform also works both ways. So which means that as a potential learner, as a potential student, I can also look up, masters on the platform that are registered. I can see the business that they are doing, their interest, where they are based, and all that. I can apply. As if I'm applying for a job, I can apply to actually be an apprentice under them. And then they can choose to accept or not accept. So a platform like this can actually revolutionize the entire system. So which means that it can do it such a way that we can have more accurate matching. Because the existing system that we have is that I just go to the village. I just say, okay, your daddy, your papa don't die, your papa don't die. Nobody take care of you. Okay, come and be learning on that. And without rigors or consideration to the fact that whether those people I'm taking even have interest to learn what I'm offering them. So let's assume the student had interest in, let's say, interest in selling tiles. But now me, it's clothes that I'm selling. So you can actually have that kind of satisfaction. And then at the end of the day, the student might not, because they don't have interest in exactly what I'm doing. So it will be as if the system is not effective, or they can even drop out at the end of the day because they don't find it interesting. So, but having a platform like that, you can look at it based on interest, based on geography, and then a platform like that can also can also open up the system to people from other regions. So I'm not just, focus on the Igbo alone. So which means that Yoruba people can also come on the platform. Outside people can come on the platform and use the same model. Do you get? So that's actually one point of innovation that I think can happen. So another point of innovation that I think can happen is an insurance solution to protect apprentices. So if you remember when Prince Adeoye was talking the other time, one of the challenges is actually process whereby a master has taken on the students. The students have served the master for 5 years, right? And at the end of the day, the master is charging the students to go without giving them the startup capital, right? That's sad. So, but this might be due to a lot of reasons. It might be that the master sincerely does not have money at that point in time, or probably he just lost a container, or just lost a business deal and just suffered a loss and couldn't afford, to give startup capital to the new student. Might be a lot of reasons, but if there's an insurance solution in place, then we can have something to protect apprentices. So one of your innovation, one of your solution can actually be having an insurance company that is digitized. So such that you can now sell that insurance to the Igbo masters and say that, okay, you can actually be paying premium for all these students, right, that are serving under you. So, and then you can be paying premiums there. So such that if at the end of the day, by the time they are done, you are not able to give them startup capital, the insurance actually just caters for that. And if you're able to give them startup capital, then you can recover back your premium that you've donated. So the business model can be built around this insurance solution, and it can be something that will be widely accepted within the community, within the IAS community. So imagine you having like 1,000, 5,000 Igbo businessmen, insuring their apprentices on the platform. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of impact that will be. So because now we are not ensuring with that we are not ensuring that at the end of the day, the students are not being left on their own at the end of the day. So we realize that we have something solid to give to them after their training, right? So it is guaranteed. So we know that as you're signing up for the IAS system, there's no issue that there's no money. You are sure that there will always be money, there will always be certain capital for you to set up on yourself. So that's the point of innovation, potentially. Then another point of innovation is also what Prince Adeoye has briefly mentioned. So which is we coming up with e-commerce marketplaces, digital marketplaces for products, services, and skills for the targeting players in the system. So which means that we can now we can have a platform, a digital platform, e-commerce, something like Jumia, but where we will now target Igbo business owners, right? Or people in that IAS system. So such that they can now list their products on the site. So now imagine all the people that we have in that system, they are listed there. Now, the platform will also be built with them in mind, uniquely to actually serve their purpose, to serve their interests and their challenges. So which means that they can now have access to a bigger market. So similarly, aside from the e-commerce, we can also have a marketplace for skills for people in IAS that are skill-based. So which means that I can actually go to the platform and just search for anybody that has a skill, ranging from plumbing to constructions, to welding, to fashion, and a whole lot of it like that. So that's also like, a potential point of innovation within the IAS system. And Another one is IES feedback and rating system. It can also be a digital solution that we can do within the IES system. So how does this work? It's like a platform whereby we can list Igbo, mostly all these Igbo masters, they're actually businesses. So we can list them and their businesses on the platform. And then we now make sure that we communicate their students to come and rate them. So as you're graduating from a master, you are going to the platform to review the master and say that, oh, my time with this master was harrowing. I felt like I should just die because it was a lot. Oh, my time with this master was actually very pleasant. I enjoyed him and all that and all that. So what that will be doing to the system means is that people coming to a master can read up on that master and be able to decide if it's something they want to do. They're able to decide if it's a master they want all this I can that. So how this works is that, so one of the ideas, some of the groups will coming up with at the end of the day can mean that we have a digital platform that connects masters and apprentices together. So which means that a master does not need to say, I'm going back to the village, or I have to actually go back to the village to actually pick up an apprentice, right? So I can actually just log on to a digital platform and then I can see all the people that are ready for apprenticeship. And then I can look at their profile, I can look at their pictures, I can look at their family information, where it's from, oh, it's from Anambra, it's from Oyo State, it's from this, from that. And then I can decide that, okay, I want to go with this person. Okay, I can accept you to come and, do apprenticeship under me. So the platform also works both ways. So which means that as a potential learner, as a potential student, I can also look up, masters on the platform that are registered, their interest, where they are based, and all that. I can apply. As if I'm applying for a job, I can apply to actually be an apprentice under them. And then they can choose to accept or not accept. So a platform like this can actually revolutionize the entire system. So which means that it can do it such a way that we can have more accurate matching. Because the existing system that we have is that I just go to the village. I just say, okay, your daddy, your papa don't die, papa don't die. Nobody take care of you. Okay, come and be learning on that one. And without regards or consideration to the fact that whether those people I'm taking even have interest to learn what I'm offering them. So let's assume the student had interest in, let's say, interest in selling tiles. But now me, it's clothes that I'm selling. So you can actually have that kind of satisfaction. And then at the end of the day, the student might not, because they don't have interest in exactly what I'm doing. So it will be as if the system is not effective, or they can even drop out at the end of the day because they don't find it interesting. So, but having a platform like that, you can look at it based on interest, based on geography, and then a platform like that can also can also open up the system to people from other regions. So I'm not just, focus on the Igbo alone. So which means that Yoruba people can also come on the platform, outside people can come on the platform and use the same model. Do you get? So that's actually one point of innovation that I think can happen. So another point of innovation that I think can happen is an insurance solution to protect apprentices. So if you remember, when Prince Adeoye was talking the other time, one of the challenges is actually process whereby a master has taken the students. The students have served the master for 5 years, right? And at the end of the day, the master is charging the students to go ahead and just build stuff. Over it can actually the people you are solving. You've been able to define what the problem is. You've been able to actually come up with ideas on actually how to address the problem you've found. So the next thing is actually to come up with a prototype. So prototype is basically like, you know, interest in, let's say, interest
So of course, this is to start a conversation in our minds. So because we'll also be working with time, and we want to be able to like follow through like an entire design thinking process to see that the problems that we identify are we able to like picture a solution, right? So time goes on, because the truth is, even if we give ourselves the whole day to talk about problems that might come while trying to find a solution or building this, we might not be able to like exhaust all possible problems that might come. Problems that might come later might be after you've even developed like the first version of the product. That is when that is when like you see another set of problems that might come with those first versions. But this is still at the idea stage. So which means the problems that we've been able to come across with this idea stage for now are just three: access to internet access, no access to information, and then the tech illiteracy among these people. Right. So trying to find a solution to it is the next thing. So thinking about it, right? Thinking about this, of all the problems that we stated, which problems can you control? What is it? Exactly. Technology literacy. You can control that. So which means the fact that you can control that problem means you've opened another window of building a product outside of this. So the goal now is we started with okay, we want to try and build a solution for this, right? We identify the problems that are attached to problems that we want to build. And of these problems that we identified, right, we said, okay, we can control the tech literacy aspect. So, which means to a large extent, we can find solutions to that particular problem. The fact that we can control it means we can find solutions to that particular problem. Now, the two other problems are no access to information and then the internet connection. To a large extent, can we control the internet connection? We can.
When you find like the network that is stronger in any state, you can use it, and the ones over there in the Zoom call can use the one that's stronger. I don't know what's the
Those things we can control the internet. We also think we can control the internet. Is subjective, right? Because you might also get to the robotics aspect and realize that the Wi-Fi that is in the system would not. So it for the connection aspect, it's a long shot to say we have control over it. It's a long shot because it actually will involve like every how does it, every investment on the sides of the telecommunication companies, the and the reason why networks are probably not so good over there is the fact that they don't have like a target market there. So that's their mindset. Like they don't have how many people uses Wi-Fi or data connection in the rural areas. Not so many people, right? Because they don't think it's something that they need. So which means they don't also want to invest so much in it. So it's when you're trying to build a solution for a problem. So these are the things that you try to consider. You try to identify the people who would actually use this solution, right? When you try to identify the people who would use this solution, then you start to understand what their problem is all about. Now, we identified three problems that we identified. We targeted it based on the fact that the people who would actually use this solution are in the remote part of the city, in the remote part of the city, right? People who are not that tech literate, people who don't really have access to internet, right? So when you identify the key stakeholders, so let me put them as stakeholders. When you identify the key stakeholders in a particular product you are building, it helps you to understand how you are going to approach the problems and how you are going to put up a solution for them, right? So, which means when it comes to the tech literacy, right, we said we can control that, right? But when it comes to a large extent, we may not be able to control that, right? And then the third problems that we identified was access to information, which I think we can also control that, right? So on the aspect of access to the internet, on the aspect of access to the internet, it's a long thought. So in product building, we may call that out of scope. It's a problem that is there. It's a problem that we need to solve, but it's out of scope at the moment because we may not have the capacity to say, okay, we want to solve this problem. So let's just put it that this problem is there, we acknowledge it. But do we have the capacity to solve it at the moment? No. So let's put it as out of scope. Now, the problems that we have capacity to solve, that we've identified, the tech literacy level, and then the access to information. These two problems we have the capacity to solve for them. So when it comes to tech literacy level, what are the ways that you think we can solve for this?
really have access to
something like this we are doing now. Just go to the rural villages and gather all of them and show them, like teaching them, telling them dangers of the internet and their advantages.
Okay, so everything that has been, the two things that are said there have revolved around going to those remote part of the city, right? The remote part of the state, and then tell them what technology is. And you know that the best way to learn is by doing. So if you go there to tell them that, okay, this is technology, this is how to use it, this is that. If they don't have something to use day to day to say, okay, I want to access, I want to talk to my son who is in the city. Oh, instead of calling through my number, I can easily chat him on WhatsApp. So if they don't have a gadget to like chat on WhatsApp, whatever that you say to them would only last for the moment you said it, right? So, which means when it comes to technology illiteracy also, but the truth is, if you go to teach them about these things, are you going to buy those gadgets for them? No. Even if you're able to partner with the telecommunication companies, the people who has like access to these smartphones, they are not going to give them smartphones. No. So which means to a large extent you can tell them that okay, this is how technology works. Oh, you can use WhatsApp, but do they have the financial capacity to say they want to buy a smartphone? Let's say out of 100%, let's say 50% have that financial capacity to say, oh, WhatsApp is the next thing that a smartphone is the next item that I want to buy. So they will always put priorities on things. So which means smartphone is on the list of their priority. But you want to like, you're trying to like find a way to use tech to solve some of the problems that they have. So understanding that for to a large extent, they are technology, they are not illiterate. They are illiterate when it comes to technology, right? And the second is even if you try to solve this illiteracy with them, they still need something to use like a smartphone. But there is no way you are except you are an NGO that can afford to give each of them smartphones. There is no way you can provide smartphones that they use. So, which means, irrespective of these constraints, irrespective of these problems, you still have to solve this particular problem for them. You still have to solve it for them. Now, when WhatsApp came to, I don't know, I think WhatsApp came around 2015, 2016. No, I think it should be before then. WhatsApp has been on before then, around 2010, 2011, but before it became prevalent in Nigeria was around, I don't know, maybe 2013 or thereabout. So which means when you try to solve a particular problem, what WhatsApp preaches is instant messaging. So which means if I have my phone number, right, if someone has my phone number, they can send outside of text message, they can send the message to me that I will receive instantly. So that's what WhatsApp preaches, instant message. So which is something that can work as your SMS. You know, SMS is instant. When you send it, the person receives it. But WhatsApp is not telling you, no, you don't need your airtime, you don't need anything. You need data to send an instant message. Now, that was not something that came in, that was not something that when they launched WhatsApp, it came to Nigeria just like that. No, let me use an example that I think you would be able to relate well. When it comes to the issue of using gas cookers, right? So I'm trying to use an example that will be able to relate to it. When it comes to adoption rates with using gas cookers, for middle income families in Nigeria, like the adoption rate was small, like was very, very low. There were issues with, oh, if I'm using gas cooker, oh, what if the gas burst and then the house gets fire? So they're comfortable with solutions that they know has less risk. Like, oh, let's continue using our kerosene. Oh, let's continue using our firewood. Let's continue using our charcoal. So the issue of gas cooker was even out of it. And I can use my example, my own family as an example. Before we adopted to use gas cookers at home, it was like 4 or 5 years after it has been like widely used by people. Because there was that they were kind of skeptical that oh the dangers that come with using gas cookers, right? But now, so what I'm trying to now explain is whether they like it or not, in the long run, people will come to adopt that solution. Now, it's so rare that you get to a middle income or even a low income family in Nigeria and you not see them using gas cooker. Even if it is these small ones with their cylinders, and you will see them using those gas cookers, right? So which means people have come to adopt it. That oh, it's faster, it's even safer, and it costs less than them using the kerosene, right? So which means in a way, you still have to solve that problem because the problem that exists, you're trying to match make apprentice to master. It's a problem that currently exists. You've seen the gap in it. So, how do we think about understanding the constraints that we have, which is access to technology? They are tech illiterate, right? They don't have this access to information, right? And then the internet connection is bad, but we still want to solve that problem for them. So one thing that I want to open your mind to is when you're trying to solve a solution, solve a problem, right? It does not necessarily have to be, oh, we need to build a mobile application. We need to build a web application. Oh, we need to open a channel of WhatsApp. Oh, we need to do this. We need to do that. We need to have an infrastructure that is very good. No, the steps it takes to solving a problem is small, is minute, right? So which means if you try to say, oh, a digital platform matching masters to apprentice, now which means you want to solve this problem for them outside of tech at the same time using tech. So let me give us an illustration. Let's say I want to start an e-commerce market in this school. My first thought would not be building a web application or a website where you can log in. No, that would not be my first step, because if that is my first step, it means at the end of the day, if you don't use it, I've run at a loss because I've developed the website, right? I've set up so many things, I've spent money. At the end of the day, if you don't use it, I've run at a loss. So my first step might be reaching out to you, reaching out to you, reaching out to you, and saying, "Oh, I have a store online. I've not built it. I have a store online that helps you to order anything you want in Enugu without leaving your house. I've not built it, right? I've not built it, but I've come to. I'm trying to validate that this problem that I say exists, does it really exist? So before I go into, oh, we want to start building a mobile application, what's like the simplest thing that I can build to help validate that the problem that I say exists, do they really exist? Because one thing is you can think of problems in your head that, oh, this problem exists.
Recording stop.
Finding it hard to shop for goods online. Oh, because you have that particular problem, you say, oh, we tend to generalize it that, oh, because I have this problem, I have a problem commuting to from my house to school. Other people also have that problem. We tend to generalize problems when we face them. So that you don't rush into, oh, now that I've seen that this problem exists, let me try and solve it. No. So you try to validate that that problem, does it really exist? So before, if I say, oh, I'm trying to build an e-commerce for students within this campus, and I start building, oh, because I have the money or the resources, I build the website, I set up everything, and then I expect that, oh, people will just come to the website and start placing orders. It doesn't work like that. So the first steps that we want to do is to actually engage people that I think would use the platform. I have to engage them. You cannot take it outside of product building. You have to engage them. So I have to come and say, oh, sorry, what's your name? George. Oh, George, do you also have problem when you want to buy something on campus, even if it is late at night? Fine. George has confirmed that the same problem that I say I have, George also has it. So it means if I build something, George will likely use it because it both solves a problem. But if I don't ask George, there is no way I would know that, oh, someone else is also has that problem. Oh, I can.
whereby you access or working for someone that is not really but then there are posters and they are using WhatsApp communication the master or whoever they are doing somewhere outside get information on the product and then share it in the WhatsApp to their friends and they're able to sell the person outside get master. So these persons are able to sell on WhatsApp, sell on any platform. Why is this? And the master send the product. They can send from wherever.
So that system that has existed in the current. So that's a system that has existed in the current matching masters apprentice. So which means it might be that the person is an apprentice of that master. It might be that the person is not necessarily an apprentice. So I can easily go to that master and say, okay, this is what I do. I school in this city. I'm trying to learn the art of trading, right? Okay, I want it to be that you will be my supplier. So I'll try and get sample of product from you. I'll post it on my WhatsApp status. So if I get orders, right, which means I'll add my own markup. If I get orders, I reach out to you for this product and you send them to me. So I may be an apprentice of that person and I may not be an apprentice. So in that case, it's where the second section that we talked about, the e-commerce section, how it works. So that's this case study that I explained. It's similar to the e-commerce. So which is finding a section where people can buy products, people can buy skills, people can buy products, they can look for skills, right, and make payment for these things. So that section, the case study you just explained, work perfectly in the e-commerce section. But when you take a look at the matching masters and apprentices, it's just like looking for someone that you want to sell a service to, or looking for someone that wants to buy your service. So, but the real thing, the foundation of this is you have to speak to people. You have to. Now, that case study you talked about for someone who sells on WhatsApp, you also have to engage that person. That do they currently have issues with, let's say, managing orders that they get on WhatsApp and then relating it to their boss, because it might be cumbersome, right? You get orders for someone, you chat them up, you have to reply to that person that, oh, this is the price. Let's say you negotiate, you go back and forth on negotiating price, right? You finally agree on price. Then you have to reach out to your boss again that, oh, I want this delivered to me. Now imagine you have to do 10 of those things in a day as a student. So that's a lot already. So which means that also poses a problem to them that, oh, do you have problems currently, even with these current systems that you have? And then that's when they start to tell you that, oh, sometimes I might have like 100, 20 people chatting me up about a product. I don't know how to keep track of these orders that I'm getting, and then relate to my boss in Enugu, and then she was like, it's a whole lot of process for them, and even as a student. But what I want you to take out of this is that you have to speak to them. You have to speak to them. So it can start with the assumptions that we have. And the assumptions that we're having at the moment is this: data platform matching masters and apprentices. We have that assumption that, oh, this is a problem that we can try to solve. But there is no way we can solve that problem effectively without speaking to them. So if you are leaving the four walls of this place at the end of the day, I want it to be that when you reach out, when you have these people within your network, you start engaging them. That okay, a masters do sales in Enugu or Onisha. That, oh, do you have problems getting apprentices? Who would come and work for you? Oh, what are the problems that you face regarding this system? What are these? What are that? If you don't ask problems, there is no way you can break. There is no way you can break down this particular problem that you want to solve. And until you're able to break it into like tiny bits, that is when you can solve a problem like this. So let me hint also on something regarding this, based on the foundations that we've laid about the problems that might come up. Literacy level, right? Technology literacy level, access to information, and then internet access. We know these things are foundational problems, even across four key points or key products that we'll be talking about. These are foundational problems. Now, if I want to solve something like this, a digital platform matching masters to apprentices, I would want to go to as low as possible. Something that I know will be like, it will take minimal effort from the master and the apprentice. Because if I say, oh, you have to come to the website to start with, trust me, they may not visit. They may not visit. That's the reality. They may not visit. Oh, there's a website. If you go to a master in Indonesia and say, oh, I have a website where you can be able to like request for apprentice and then deliver those apprentices to you. The person will look at you like, are you sure I am the right person to come and say this to? But if you go to that person and say, if you are looking for an apprentice, I have a way to deliver them to you today, then we'll be like, okay, tell me more. Because I have not mentioned anything that talks about, oh, there's a website where you log in and then request for these people. I'm telling the person that if you need apprentice today, I have a way to deliver them to you. And that has given the room for conversation. Okay, how are you going to do it? They can then say, oh, your own is just to place that request. We have done all the necessary things that we need to do. We vetted the apprentices, we ensure that they have a good background and this and that, and we'll just deliver them to you. So when you're trying to solve a problem, so I'm going to dwell more on this so that it creates the foundation on what we would use for the rest of the four products. So the key things that you need to know is you have to speak to the people involved. You have to speak to them. That's the one key thing. So identify, okay, the first key thing might be identify the problems that may come with a product that you're trying to build, the assumptions of the product that you're trying to build, and then speak to the people involved. Because while identifying the problems, you would identify the people who are involved. Because it was when we were identifying the problems that we realized that there are people who are in the remote areas of the state or the city, right? There are people who don't have access to internet. There are people who are not tech literate to that extent. So you've identified those stakeholders, right? And you try to do what? You try to speak to them to get a better insight on what that problem is. All of this that we are saying is still an assumption on our own end. We can only validate that assumption unless we speak to them. And you don't use assumptions to build solutions. No, you don't use assumptions to build solutions. You use facts. You speak to those people to understand that. Because at the end of the day, you want to build something that someone would use. But if you don't speak to a potential person that will use it, if you build it, they may end up not using it. So, key things to note: identify the problems that might come with assumptions of the solutions that we are trying to build. Speak to those people. 3, make your product to be as simple as possible. So there is a term we call minimum viable product. So it has to be something that I don't have to stress myself to use. I don't. I don't have to stress myself to use. So if you follow those routes, if you follow these steps of identifying the problems that are related to assumptions that you have, speak to the people who are concerned, the stakeholders, and then making the solution to be as simple as possible, then you have an estimate on how you can approach it. So follow these 3 things to approach every problem assumptions that you have or solution assumptions that you have. Speak to those people. I can't, like, it's something that I would always emphasize. Speak to those people because they'll be the one to inform, they would inform the kind of solution you build. So in my head, because like I said, knowing that we're coming here today, I did a bit of research. I spoke to a bit of people in Oyo Agbeni markets, like, so those people who sell like a simple spare part. These people don't have time to use websites. They don't have time to go to website to say, oh, they are in need of this apprentice, right? But they don't have time to start saying, oh, let me log on to one website. Let me no. And the truth is, they are tech savvy to a large extent because they can use WhatsApp. They can speak to their clients in Russia. They have the way in China. They have the way to speak to them. So which means the access to internet is not the barrier. Being tech savvy enough is not the barrier. They can operate these things. If you tell them that, oh, this is how you do, this is how you do that, they can. But they just find it as a friction to say, because I need an apprentice, oh, I have to come to one website, I have to request. No. So at least you have to like something like smoothen the way for them. Before you tell them to say, oh, now you would have to like come to a website, you have to provide something that is very simple for them to use. And it might be as simple as saying, starting with a Google form. It might be as simple as that, starting with a Google form, where you have a Google form that you use to collect the data of the apprentice. You do all the manual work to say, oh, we are going to specific people, we are requesting the data of people who might be willing to do apprentice with someone, right? You collect their data. You've done the necessary vetting. And then you go to these masters to say, oh, we have a list of 100 apprentices. We've done the vetting. We are sure these are people that you can trust with your business. All what you have to do is can start with, oh, reach out to our WhatsApp number to request for specific details that, oh, I need an apprentice, oh, I need a male between this age and this period, between this and this. Give us your own specification and then we'll match you with them.
I wanted to add one more problem. Online fraud. People will come in as if they are actual apprentices. They'll tell you to make first payment, initial payment, for the lessons to start. By the time you pay, they block you. So people don't even trust most online apprenticeship programs.
This further affirms what I said from the beginning, that we can't list out all of the problems all at once. So when we try to like solve for a certain problem that we started from the beginning, then we realize that there's an issue of fraud. So which means the more you try to question these things, you further realizes the problem that comes with it, and then you solve for that problem. Now we've come to the fact that problems that we have, solutions that we have to build has to be simple. something that requires minimal effort from both parties. But then we realize that there's an issue of fraud. Now you start thinking of how do I solve for fraud in this case, right? And I think one of the solutions that we have here also talks about something like that, the case of the insurance sort of things, so that as an apprentice, I don't just pay upfront and at the end of the day realize that I've been duped, right? So these are the things, these are problems. So problems don't just come up all at once. You don't just get an understanding of the problem all at once. So you get an understanding like first stage of the process. So this is just like give you an insight on conversations that you need to, that needs to happen so that you are able to like create a particular product or a particular solution that you want to provide and ensure that the solution you are providing is as simple as possible and people would actually use it. So I think there will be a less person.
Right. Good morning, everybody. So we start. I think we're almost 10 here, so it's a good number. We have participants online too. So we will start with one of the sessions. Speaker is already around, and her name is Mrs. Happiness Obioha. I'm not sure if I pronounced it very well. So she's the regional sales director with Techcom. So we're going to bring her on board now. You'll see her to be projected for you. So just keep your heart open. The fact that we are not many here doesn't mean much. If all of us here get it right, it's something good. Okay? So we bring her on board now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me. Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, a big thank you to Foundation, for this opportunity. It's always something I desire to do when I have the opportunity. So a big thank you. So just permit me, let me share my screen. Just a second. Okay, my name is Happiness Obioha. So I'm the regional director for sales director for TCOM. Just in brief about me. Okay, so currently I'm a cybersecurity consultant, and of course, which also cut across both ICT generally. It's been a wonderful journey for me for over 15 years. And it's because of the inner drive I have. Yes, in school I studied business administration. Firstly, I attended Polytechnic, where I did things around the administrative and where I studied. And then I kind of moved to university where I did my business too. So this is just about my background. But the important thing is that I had passion for technology, but that's aside. I had an inner drive of being an entrepreneur. I had that inner drive, and that is also what kept me moving. So I really love this program in terms of the team, looking around to just a second. So looking around, master, and I hope I'm not echoing. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Please confirm. Can I have a confirmation, please? Okay, so I really love the program and the theme of it, which speaks around entrepreneurship and then, of course, master and apprenticeship. So it's also a kind of foundation I had. Today in TCOM, we are two directors, though we also have one or two key stakeholders, from tech background and also from the government agency. So, but the important thing is that the key founders of TCOM, me, Happiness, and then my husband today, we also had that foundation of apprenticeship. So let me go by this. So for my husband, he really served. He had the master. He served for years, and before he became the director or the current CEO of TCOM. So back then, you know, uh, I had a driving force, like I earlier mentioned, which having that entrepreneurship spirit. Yes, of course. From our background being from Igbo side, there is always enough for us to say, okay, I want to really develop myself. I want to stand out. I want to do something much greater. I don't want to have the mindset of, um, sitting in an office, you understand? So this is one of the mindset which has also made the Igbos, to stand out wherever they are. So this was also the same mindset I had, in as much as I didn't really grow up in the village. But for my husband, yes, like I said, he served, he had his uncle where he spent about 5 years plus, as apprentice. And of course, it was a very tough period for him. And from my own side, I also had a little bit, and that was when after my secondary school, because of that driving force, to learning to be somebody, to stand out. Yes, I had one of these uncle which I really approached. That was after my secondary school. So, but in the process, I got into the polytechnic. But then I never give up because I had to make him to say, okay, uncle, please let me be doing this. Why? Even if you don't pay me, I don't mind. But the thing is that what I was doing was basically to market his products. I wasn't really serving fully, but when I'm back from school, yes, I have to report to the shop, and to also attend to customers. But this was part of the things, that really formed my growth. And also, like my husband, I mentioned, his own side too, it also really helped him to build and shape, the kind of person he is today. So myself specifically, like I told you, so I had this uncle, of course, I was also there helping. He wasn't really paying me per se, but there's this inner joy to say, yes, I'm doing something, I'm really engaged. So by the time I joined, though the company was registered when we were so very young, because I would say, yes, I started making money at the age of 18. Yes, that was when I started making money. And because of still the inner force, the inner drive I had, it kept me moving. That even when after my polytechnic, I joined the university. So I was selling some little things. I was selling some things. Part of the things I was selling, in as much as you want to make money, no matter how small. I wasn't really too conscious of, too much profits per se. I started with selling recharge cards. From recharge cards, I begin to ask people, okay, what are somehow I did a survey to say, okay, let's look around what are the needs around it within the school. Some of the things I dabbled into was stationery, apart from the recharge card, stationery, and then cosmetics, which combined with beverages, which I was selling just little by little. So these were some of the things I did, in my early days. And from though even while I was still in the school, luckily, yes, I schooled in Lagos State, which also gave me opportunity to do a lot of run around, do a lot of freelancing, activity. So there's this company, when I got into IT proper, I was still in school. So I had to make friends. You just like you're in school today, I wouldn't want you to underrate your friends, but I also want you to have a specific target, the kind of relationship you want to build, the kind of friends you want to set, to make sure, yes, at the long run, they are profitable to you and you are also profitable to them. So this was part of the relationship I started building. That was from my second year, 12 years. So because I had to look around. Okay, what is the next thing? In as much as I was doing some little business, but then yeah, getting little profit. But I had a bigger vision. So it was in my second year, yes, we got TCOM registered, but then nothing much was really happening. But what I was doing then, good enough. My husband, kind of graduated from his apprenticeship. So we start to strategize, okay, what can we do to move things forward, even the company, because we just registered it and then it was there. So I look at my own side, he also look at, he's gone on the days whereby you could say, oh, I did the apprenticeship and then I had the 100K in my pocket at the end of the day. Your master could give you that to help you or to support your mission or your vision. But then that was not the same with my husband. And for me too, I had to help myself all the way, you understand, because of my background as well. So and then it continues, just like that. And we started strategizing gradually. Initially, there was no fund to start the business as expected. But the first thing that really happened, like, this, we are looking at the dynamic process, which is my topic, because I have to walk you through the process. So that takes me to the next slide. Like I talk about the mindset. We see about, I had the mindset to be somebody. I had the mindset to be outstanding. I had the mindset, to really, shape my words. That's what's my own drive. And that also really got me to learning more things around technology. So good and fine. My husband, he grew up, understanding cabling, cabling and connector. That was the only space he could play. And at the end of the day, because of my own interest and eagerness to learn technology, listen, I'm saying this was back 2006, 2007. So I had to do a kind of freelance activity. Some of the freelance activity was, um, I had to check online, not really online that really helped me. But then because I told you, I made a good friends. Some of the friends I made, also have relationship. I was like, okay, please, I want to do some freelance activity, which could really help me to shape my mindset, to help me to bring up to the expectation which I've really set out for myself. So, and then I made this company where I started working gradually. Then, of course, they were paying me around 20K then. So you could imagine then. So, but it was also based on, yes, I was still schooling, but then I had this opportunity to work, at my 12 year. So the activity wasn't really so much, for me then. So I had some time, to run around, to do some hustling, to do some freelance. And that was how I started, like I said, the eagerness to learn. And which I know that, of course, you need to understand um, your environment. Then we had the boom of the likes of MTN coming on board, Glow. So then the recharge card business was really booming. And then though I had also to look at what I could do much better. So, like, let me speak to my slide, which is showing around the mindsets. You could have a good mindset, but most time, if you're not also well positioned, you may not really get it right. And your mindset, the inner force, determine how far you can go. In as much as maybe at that moment you don't have any cash, no capital. Like I love what the last speaker said, some of the things he presented and he mentioned. Yes, there may be some constraint, no capital, nothing, and then possibly you don't even have a family to help you, and maybe you're somehow depending on your parents. But I tell you, for me, I had the inner force. And part of the thing that kept me moving was I wouldn't want to be dependent to anyone. I should also be able to pay my school fees, do some certain things, contribute to family as well. In as much as yes, nobody was really disturbing me. But the eager to learn, that was part of the mindset I had. And that was what brought me to ICT generally. So which I started with, the radio frequency back then when you have the VSAT, the 18. So I started learning it gradually. I started learning it. And of course, when I have time, I move around, I look at what is happening, I look at the trend, so this was what really, really helped me. And this where the growth mindset, really coming, because most time, yes, you need to have that growth mindset to be able to keep you, moving, and then you'll be able to visualize, okay, this is where I want to be, maybe set a target or look at the journey in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, where do I want to be, what do I want to do, what difference do I want to make? So this was what really helped me, as a person, even to my husband today. So to my next slide. Sorry, just a second, to my next slide. Yeah, I call this, the business model that really works for me. I know there's a couple of things happening today because of the technology of today. Yes, there's some people doesn't even want to really suffer. They don't want to work. They don't want to learn. I really urge you guys. It's really worked for me, myself, back my early days, where I had to really invest a lot of time, understand my environment, understand, what I could do better. Of course, I know even my early days, yes, the Yahoo business was there, but not really as it is now. But like I said, it's what you want to be, what you have vision for yourself. So, and that was what brought me to the limelight, where I started learning things, understanding my environment proper. And I had to sit back, to say, okay, yes, my third, fourth year, I said, okay, I need to really look at things around. And some of those things was, okay, I have seen, like I told you, while I was in school, I was still doing some freelance. I was sitting around, understanding businesses, understanding the trend, building good relationship, because that was what really kept me moving. And because we already have a registered company and the company just there, so I had to vision, okay, what can we do? What difference can we make? Capital was part of the constraint we had. Like here, this was the typical process which I followed through, like defining your customers. I look at, I had the vision, we had the vision to go into networking business. And the networking business, comprises of a lot of hardware, where you need to supply before you are being paid. So we look at those things. I also had to study the environment to understand my competitors, what are they doing? What difference are they making? How are they succeeding? I had those studies in place. And then the determining value proposition, which we had to really come back to say, okay, let's focus on this product aspect, which is really moving, after I've compiled those research, the reports especially. So we decided on the revenue stream. But like I said, capital was a constraint. But part of the things we did, because here you need to be very, very strategic. You may not really be in the ICT industry, or maybe selling of clothes or other things, but there's a bottom line here, and that bottom line, like what the last speaker mentioned, he said around the foundational problem. So when you look at your environment, you look at yourself to say, okay, what can I do? I need to really move forward. I need to scale up. I need to make a difference. I tell you, there's always possibility. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your approach. There's possibility in all things. Like the girl that mentioned that said, oh, there are scammers everywhere. Yes, they're there. They're everywhere. But I tell you, they are reliable people. And that's why you also need to see about, even while in school, the kind of friends you make, the kind of relationship you build, it goes a long way for you. Yeah, today I would say, yes, my school days, I don't even have my friends in the school, we don't really have much to do. I would say just about 5% that is still in contact who are also having a good job today. But most of the relationship I have today was outside the school. And because I was really eager to learn, and then, of course, had that self-branding image. So, like I mentioned, so capital could be a constraint. But part of the thing that really helped us or helped Ticom today was we look at partnership. And this is where you also have a master. We look at partnership. And part of the partnership we had was we had 2 or 3 people who have these products. Some of them, they don't even, some of them they have apprentices, working with them. Some don't have. We were really looking at, employing one, even if it's the one, normally the mentality of the Igbos, I need to get this boy, let it spend like 5, 10 years before I will settle him. Some do not have, that full, some have, but some do not. But there are very few, those who do not have that vision to have an apprentice. Some of them, they had the idea to say, okay, even if I can get a marketer to market my products. So that was the kind of people we work with. We also have people who also have apprentices, but then we look at their business and how they are succeeding. And then we approach them for, to work with them, to partner with them. And part of the partnership, because we had to sign an agreement at some point to say, okay, initially some we didn't sign. It was based on trust, which you can do even while in school to say, oh, please give me this product, I sell, and then I pay you back. That was how we were striving back then, because we know we don't have the capital and you cannot even approach the bank because there are so many criteria, and prerequisites for you to be able to do business. So we had the favor, of these people to get product from them, But the first thing I did was also to recognize the customers, to know who is my customer. Because that's the first thing, even after you must have, because this is the bottom line. Your customer could be B2B, B2C, or C2C. It could be your friend. It could be somebody beside you. It could be somebody you don't know. And today, thank God for the social media or the technology where you could also chat up, put up things on WhatsApp, even if you don't have access to other as social media accounts, you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook, where you could project or market whatever you have. So I had to do some kind of a visibility study, understand the market, understand the customers, understand their intention, understand their key requirement, what they want to achieve. So like I said, so back then, that was the boom of the GSM. And because I know that a lot of organizations, they have to, build base station, they have to do land network, to service their customers. This was when the internet was coming up. Then it was VSAT. From VSAT, we had radio frequency, then VSAT was on board before the fiber. So we started, like I told you, we had partnership because we do not have the capital then. And because of there are some customers I had back then to say, okay, they was okay, Happiness, supply me and I'll pay you after a week or after a month. So because most time you need to understand so that even when you're signing up an agreement or telling somebody, oh, please, I'm going to pay you so time. Some of the things that was really supporting or helping us back then was, if a customer tells me, okay, Happiness, we're going to pay you in 2 weeks' time, I'll tell the person, please give me 3 weeks. So this was how we are trying to manage. But even there was a situation whereby even customers will tell you, oh, after 2 weeks, they give you story. They'll tell you it has not been approved, one issue or the other. So this was some of the fought and back, some of the things we fought against. But then there is this inner force, like I told you, it's all about your mindset. If you think you want to succeed, you will definitely succeed. The challenges will definitely be there. But I also had issue whereby I lost some money in the process. Yes, even as a young child, I lost a lot of money, but I never give up. I never allowed that to weigh me down because I know where I was heading to. I know what the goal I've already set for myself and also for the company. So that was how we strive. So, and over time, we started building relationship. We started scaling up, you know, and of course, building trust in the life of our customers, in their business, understanding their business much better. And of course, you need to be in their face. You need to call most times, even if I'm not around, I'm always calling. I'm always chatting. So there is a way I build my own relationship. Yes, greetings, regular checkup, you know, like new moons, there are so many things, I do just to keep the tab or keep the ball rolling. So these were some of the things we did until fully, yes, the company really started fully. We started making a good headway. That was back 2018, 2018, 2008, 2009, 2010 years. So that was when we started, building up things, structurizing things around us. And some of the things we've done, over time, because today I would say, yes, the company has really scaled up. Like I said, this was part of the process we went through. I know that today, some of the youth, they don't want to go through stress. We want to do things sharp, sharp. It's good to do things sharp, sharp, but you need to be very, very strategic. And sharp, sharp is, yes, understanding your customer, understanding your environment, understanding what your competitors are doing, understand the product proper, because that was also what really helped me. Yes, you may not know it all. You don't need to go to Cambridge or for you to understand how to pitch or how to communicate. The important thing is that you know what your customer wants. You know that your key trend is focus or value is you have integrity, build trust, because this was also what really helped. If you're going to have a master to work with today or tomorrow, trust is very key. You understand? Because those are some of the motivational factors to say, okay, if the person is going to really help you, if the person is going to really support you. And I tell you, look, there are good people out there. There are good organizations. But I tell you, it is your self-worth that really determine if they're going to work with you. Like over years, we've built good relationship with our customers, and everything was based on trust. And part of the thing that really kept us, which of course I'll speak in my next slide, um, um, before I come to TICOM, part of the thing that really helped us, like if you look at this, the roadmap, determine like the key partnership which I've spoken about, having a clear set of key activities, yes, build a strategy. You understand me? Like part of the thing that really helped us, stand out is trust, integrity. And then the other thing combined with the value, which is around availability of the products. At times we could have a request which is even beyond what we can drive. But just knowing that, yes, when you run into the markets, you have a PO at your hand, there's possibility of things. But part of it, which is the bottom line, is we also had God by our side, which was really, really helping us to go. So what I'm really taking you through this process is to build your mindset and to tell you that, yes, hard work pays. Your approach matters a lot, how you go about it. I wouldn't want to, I'm trying to come down to a level to say, okay, because we're still in school. And of course, we are looking at the master's and apprentice approach. So hard work pays, you need to really be self-motivational so that you don't need somebody to motivate you to do things or to go extra mile. Always have that inner factor to say, oh, yes, I want to really motivate myself, whether I'm being motivated by anyone or my environment. No, you know what is happening in Nigeria today. I know that, yes, everybody will not travel. There's still some people that will be local. And even right now, just I was discussing with one of my friends yesterday, it's also a very big opportunity for some people around to really learn, because we know, like within the tech industry, especially within the ICT or cybersecurity space, some of the key guys, they've left the country. Some of them are in UK, some of them are in Canada. But it's also, a good opportunity for those coming up, especially those still in school. You start learning things because there's a lot of opportunities. And there's also free access, especially when you have access. For the fact you have a phone, you can browse, you can check things, you can learn things, you can play YouTube. There's so many things you could learn online. So this is what you could use to build yourself up. And of course, to set a target to say, okay, this is what I want to be, this is where I want to go. I know that, yes, there's so many Yahoo hacking here and there, but it doesn't really pay. You understand? So hard work is the real thing. But that hard work starts from your mindset, and the target you've set for yourself as an individual. So let me just speak briefly about TCOM. For TCOM, we play in the space of ICT generally, which has to do cut across network, infrastructure, and cybersecurity. For the network, like I told you, this was our core foundation, how we started over the years, 15 years back now. In as much as we are also moving on a low pace, we are really too eager to, spread out like that. But of course, we try to study the market. And of course, something you build over time, there's always a joy at the end of it. So we, in the network space, we really scale up because today we've built trust within that space, whereby I would say we do around 35% marketing. 75% of it is, or 65 thereabout, is referrals. And of course, customers approaching us to say, okay, TCOM, do you have this? We need this. Can you provide this for us? We have built that trust because these are the only thing that will keep you moving, over time when you build a trust. Number one, like I said, you build a trust as a brand, you yourself, people have to learn to trust you as a person. And then, of course, followed by your company. So we have been able to match this and then build that trust over time. Then back years, 6 years back, we added cybersecurity as part of our product portfolio. And today we are really scaling up because today it has also really built us up in terms of positioning us much better, building better relationship with the banks, the oil and gas, the public sector. Because so this is how we really scale up. And like I said, yes, it's been like two-person business. We have all the team working with us. We have some interns around us. We also have our key stake consultants, for things that has to do with projects. So this is just a little brief about TCOM. And this is our core value. So some of our core value was, customer focus. We are like customer advocates. Today, we've signed up a lot of contracts with OEMs outside the country. We have about more than 10. We also have a flagship OEMs that we work with locally in Nigeria. And because we have built trust over years, so we can't afford to really mess up our system. So customer focus is actually part of our key drive, and being our customer advocates, whereby, like I said, we've signed contracts with OEMs. Those OEMs, they're not here presently. They're not in Nigeria. So the customers see us as TCOM. They see us. They see happiness, not the OEM. So part of the thing that really helped us within that space, because we are customer advocates, is we try to make sure our local support is 100%. There is no excuse. Even if there's any lapses, we try to make sure, yes, because most times we could sign an SLA to say, oh, a customer will tell you if it is not 90%, they're going to deduct some money. It is not up to 95%, this and that. Yeah, we sign such SLA with our customer. But even before we sign our SLA, we make sure that, look, whatever OEM we are working with or whoever we are taking to the account, that is to the customer environment, it's an OEM we know that, yes, we have vets, because what we do, like still within the space of being customer focused, in as much as we approach the customer to understand what is their requirements, what is the intention, what is the network or the security journey for them, what are they trying to achieve, in the next couple or whatever project they have at hand. So once we understand those, we scope, understand those requirements, we go back, we look at 2 or 3 different OEM that plays within the space. And of course, we try to make sure, yes, any of the OEM we are running with actually meet the customer requirements so that we don't run into any issue. Because today, for you to sell in Nigeria, you need to have good relationship. And that relationship based on trust. So we make sure, look, nothing goes wrong. Like I said, we are not actually on the fast lane, but we have built good relationship who have really kept us. And of course, we are still moving, striving strongly. So that is for the customer focus. And then teamwork is there. Of course, the team, I have virtual team working with me. I have some team, they are not here physically. But of course, for projects, everybody reports to different locations. For those that require physical visit to the customer side, they go there. For those that needs to work virtually, yes, they do their work. So everybody is working. We have group chats, we have group WhatsApp where we communicate much better in things that we need to do. We also utilize Microsoft Office 365 for some of our projects and other sharing of information or data because of what is happening today within the data loss prevention space. So integrity is there, which I've spoken about that. Quality is one of our key drive. Anything that is not quality, we don't venture into it. And this is what I want you to also have in your mind. Whatever you want to do tomorrow, let quality be the driving force because it speaks for you at the long run. Yes, there are some key products that may be somehow expensive. Their quality. Yes, I've also done a business whereby it was zero margin. Yeah, because for me, I was keen on quality. And because of the customer I'm working with, I know what they want. Because that's very important that you study, understand the customer, understand what they want. There are different customer behaviors and there are different buying behaviors. So these are the things you need to really understand, especially if you're within the sales space or within the sales technical space. So you need to understand all those things. So this was what really helped us and of course help us striving better. Time and availability is really key because most time, because we also deal with products, customer always like, Tikon, we need this product. No, 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 no. And even if we don't have, we say, okay, please give us 2 days, give us so hours for us to be able to respond much better. And for those products we don't have, like I told you, we've signed up good partnership with those who already have these products, to approach them to say, please, at every point in time, we need your support, to be able to meet our customer requirement. And this has also how we've been scaling up. So this is just brief about TCOM and what we do on a nutshell. So this takes me to the next opportunity. So I just wanted to narrow it down because you are still in school. Yes, everybody may not be the Dangote of today, but with that good mindset, yes, you could do much, much better. Building up a journey to soak in the next 5 years, this is what I want to do. Maybe even before my graduation. Because like I told you, this is how I started. Before my graduation, I knew where I was. I knew what I was looking up to. Yes, I also had the opportunity of working with organizations. And why I had to really step back, I had to step back to learn, working with some multinational, working with big top organizations, because I know I already have the certificate to take me to that level. It really helped me to learn and most importantly, to build good relationship and also to understand the business landscape, because this is what really helps you. When you have that vision to say, okay, I want to do this, I want to be better, I want to make, a difference within my space. I want to be known, you understand? So I've stepped back, I've worked with a lot of organizations to learn. And of course, each of the organization I signed a contract to say, okay, I work for you for 1 year, for 6 months, for 2 years, not more than that. And it has also really helped. But of course, I was doing this actually to learn, and it has really helped and also shaped the business from TCOM side. So like bringing this up, which these are some of the things I think you could do even while in the school. You understand? Some does not require really capital. Like if you come to the web design or software development, you could learn the skill online. Like we have Coursera. Coursera is where you could, really learn some free, do some free training, some free, education, and of course, they also give you certificate at the end of the day. So web design, software development, I don't know the key team around, what are the comprises, or maybe their subject matters, or maybe the different departments involved. But where I have to bring up this is to say, okay, these are some of the things you could do. And uh, today, technology has really helped in a way that, yes, like what the last speaker said, you don't need to be tech savvy, for you to understand some certain thing. But over time, when you put your mind, when you're focused to, so I want to learn this, I want to get better, I want to make good money out of it will be possible for you. So web design, software development is something you can learn online. And before you know it, you are making cool money from it. There are a couple of, online where you could do some marketing, project yourself, write CVs, whether in LinkedIn. There are so many, social media space where you could really profile yourself, and then people get to know you. And then before you know it, you are being assigned a tax. So there are a couple of them like that. Online business, we know that creating online store, you could partner. There's so many partnership going, some franchise going on. You don't need to pay some money, no. The only thing is that you are buying their space. It's okay. You want to volunteer to sell this. And at the end of it, some of them will give you a commission, to say, okay, for the fact you've been able to market this, you've sold this. I changed my table, my office table and chair. So the guy I went on Jinjin to look for, office table and chair. So the guy that I got, the number I saw online, this guy is in Abuja. He's in Abuja, he's still in school. So he told me, okay, after we finalized the course and everything, so he said that was when he opened up to say, okay, I'm just franchising for this company, but the real owners are in Lagos, in Alaba. I said, okay, no issue. So he was like, please, I've discussed this price with you. I wouldn't want you to negotiate better. I mean, I understand it from that angle because I know, yeah, this is runs. Of course, I also did it in my own time, so I had to respect that. So, and of course, he shared the contact person in Lagos. I couldn't negotiate further, Sammy, because yes, I also negotiated with him, having seen other prices online, to compare to say, okay, guy, I need this. This is what I'm getting. Are you willing to give me further discount or not? So he said, okay, no issue. But the important thing is that, he's franchising for this company. So, and they are paying him commission at the end of the day. So, which is also something you can leverage on, while you're still in school. So, other thing is also clothing. There are a couple of things you can do. I'm telling you, it's about the mindset. Because this is, what really speaks. It's about the mindset and what you want to be and what you want to do. So there are a couple of things you can do. There are a couple of businesses. You don't need to start so much. I know you could be able to save 10,000, 20,000. That amount can go a long way. Forget, oh, they say things are so expensive. Forget, people are still buying. People are eating, whether you like it or not. People are buying things. People have to clothes, whether they want to clothe or buy shoes is certain. So the only thing is that at your free time, you understand, you could check around, look at the needs around within the campus, and then you get all those things. And you don't need to sample it so much. You can also have it on your WhatsApp where you can share, pictures, to, ask people whether you, kind of create that awareness that you have this, you have that, whether they can buy. And then the other thing, which is the POS. For POS business, I know that today, you can also franchise, you can work with some people, some organizations, you could volunteer, to say, yes, because I've seen them around, I've seen some students, working for their masters, to say, okay, please, for the session, if you need money and all that, quick cash, be able to access it from them. And they earn commission at the end of the day. Mobile phones, yes, accessories, those ones you can sell. You can sell to make money. The only thing is that you are building a foundation. This is what is important. Everybody may not be in the office. Yes, it's good to work as a banker, you need to resume office. I've also played in that space because how I grew up and how I really have to myself is I make sure, yes, even as an entrepreneur, yes, I have that's experience, and then also have the experience of working for other people, working for organization, because it really shape and it help you in terms of how to really position yourself much better. So we have stationaries, we have school business like coaching. There's so many hybrid coaching, whether physical or online. You could develop something
Hello, ma.
and
Hello,
before
ma.
you know
Hello,
it.
ma.
Yes, okay,
Hello, ma.
please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope you can hear me
Check
too.
your chat box. We are calling your attention to something based on what is going on from the audience here.
Okay.
Chat, check that, and then please kindly let's go that way with the discussion. Respond to
Okay,
it that
good.
way so as to be able to
Okay,
carry the audience along.
okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, let me read. The first one says, okay, just hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to open it. Okay, while we were having a discussion, okay, this morning, solution in matching masters to, okay, some of the problem there. Okay, tech literacy level of, okay, where do you want me to start first? So there is tech literacy level of potential apprentices and masters. Okay. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, please? Okay, I'm trying to get the questions so that I'll be able to answer them. Okay, because I wanted to run through my slide, then I just have to go, then I can take all the questions. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so let me take the tech literacy level of potential apprentice and masters. Okay, so I've also been able to touch this, because this has to do with, like what the last speaker said in terms of leveraging on opportunities from online, master's apprentice opportunities, and which of course one of the girl mentioned that there's so many fraud here and there. So yes, there's some physical one, and of course there's some online. And some of the online, like I told you, where you can franchise, you can volunteer to market a product. And of course, at the end of the day, they pay you commission. So this is one of it, which you can leverage on. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the next time you guys are going to have things like this, even if it's virtual, I could share some of, access you could have, some of the grant online, some of the opportunities, some of the websites you could visit in order to be able to partake and make money at the end of the day. So the other one is access to internet and information. Access to internet and information in the remote parts of the state. Yes, I need to understand the intention about this. Are you looking at as it as a challenge? I'm trying to understand the person who is asking this question. It is from the challenge aspect. I know, yes, some locations are not really too network friendly. Let me put it that way. But you need to also look at what you want to achieve. So how you want to go about it. For some location, you think, okay, there is no good network. Like in the past, I know right now, some of the telcos, they really done justice in order to make sure there's, access to network every corner. It just only few remote area where you could not really have good assets. But once you have asset, the only thing like what I do in the past, which I also encourage some youth to say, okay, where you don't have asset, please. Once you wake up and you know that you don't have something much to do, you could step outside, look at where you could have good network. If you need to send out messages online, do some projection or do some advertisement, you quickly do it, leverage that, that opportunity. And of course, also what you did that, because like what I advise people for those who are having issue with internet, today, there is internet for 600, which is around 2.5 gig with MTN. Glow also have such, because what I normally do in my early days, I look at, okay, who is giving me free internet, even if I don't have free, but I look at the bandwidth, how much space and how much I can pay. Because for me, I subscribe something as low as 200 naira, 500 naira. Then you target it, okay, if you're going to buy this bandwidth for your marketing, you make sure you utilize it very well, and you target, the audience you want to target. Firstly, you make sure you write them out. If it's require writing out, make sure you have a good project plan at the end of the day, because this is what is going to help you, to be able to scale up. I don't know if I've really answered this question very, very well. Then the other one is the case of fraud between apprentice and master. Yes, like I said, it's there, it's there. You can never take it away. But like I said, even the masters are really scared because they are the owner of the business. So if I need to franchise with somebody, whether in the school, like somebody over there, to say, okay, hey, I need it to be part of the business in terms of, reaching out to the audience or reaching out to customers within your territory. And we agree. Possibly, we may not need to sign an NDA or any contract on that. It just a voiceover based on trust. I know you, and that is all. So the thing is that I think it's even the master that really experienced the real fraud here. Because if you're an apprentice, you want to win the master's heart. You want to be a trustworthy person. You want to make sure, look, you build good relationship. And like I said, because this is what really helped me back then, making me even to stand out today, is that relationship, that trust. Because people need to trust you. Even before somebody buys anything from you, the person needs to assess to know whether you're a trustworthy person. And I tell you, when you are trustworthy, over time, there will be a lot of commitments. In fact, I've had a lot of experience whereby a company, they pay money to my account. Somebody would just call me, Happiness, I need this. Not some people that really transacted today, I don't even see them, I don't know them. They call me from outside Lagos. I'm in Lagos. And some of them are in different locations. They'll say, oh, Happiness, I've heard about you. I need this stuff. Can you help me get it? I said yes. And then, of course, they pay money, and then we get the business sorted out. So let me go to the next one. Can you speak to the above? Okay. I think I've answered all. Is there any other thing you want me to add? Please go ahead. Hello, is there any other thing you want me to add before I go to my next slide? Okay. If not, I hope you can see hear me very well. So there are so many businesses you could leverage, while selling school, to help yourself. Food stuff is there, catering is there, mini supermarket. Mini supermarket, you could have it in your bag. Yes, you have it in your bag because you move from one place to another. You could tell somebody, I have this, I have Miller, I have this. And before you know, you are growing over time, because you'll be amazed, at the end of your semester, at the end of your school, what you could do, much thing you could do, and better thing you could do for yourself. So let me quickly go to the next slide because of the time. So this is just, the social media, how you can leverage to really help yourself. We have the WhatsApp for business, we have the Facebook. I know that, yes, internet could be a constraint, but I tell you, when you have, depending on your location, the thing is that you don't need to be lazy about it. You need to allow the system to work for you if you believe in it, and it will work for you. So if you need to really step outside, in order to get good network, please do apply that, because you know what you want. And of course, you know your target audience, because this is what really matters here. So I wouldn't want to stress so much. So this is just about, showcasing your products, and of course, creating more awareness, and for people to begin to, trust you to buy things from you. Okay, so thank you for listening. I just want to know if there's any more questions, for me to take on. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Any question? Okay, I want to thank everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm so grateful. I'm also really more than happy, to join the team for their next event. Thank you so much.
That kind of is other audience that I'm being given update that they said they are ready and then the boss is to say, wow, says yes, they're ready. That's quite rather unfortunate. But no one. Messi, please do that. Do the arrangement. Okay, now please, as I was trying to relate, on this note on what we have and what we have been discussing. And what we have been discussing so far, their business is a case study of what exactly can happen when there is synergy between in the family at the family level. Because in Nigeria here, and especially in Southeast, the business become family business, isn't it? What the father does become family business. And then the role of the mother is very, very glaring, right? The role of the children also get involved, right? And then some of the children learn directly from their parents how to do this trading thing, isn't it? So we use this business as case study to note that if every member of the family participates in the family business, there will be increase, there will be enlargement. So going to school, in fact, when you are schooling, is when it's expected that you should be able to contribute even the more to the family business. Do we get it? So we go into the next section where we'll be looking at one guy that does not support his parents. The parent cannot afford to support him because they don't have, okay? But then he, by himself, built his own empire. He created his own thing. to know once you are ready, signal to me. So we'll listen to his story as a way of inspiring us so that as individuals at our family level, okay, to know how we contribute to our family, to our family business, to our family app, to ensure that we continue with this creation of words, because it's very, very important that we create words. Right. So we'll listen to him and then we'll go to the next one that have to do with how you can connect something of value like business. Okay. Thank you for.
Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to this summit and I hope you're having a great time. My name is Yemi Adekunle. I'm a pharmacist by training and I work as a university lecturer. I would like to tell you my story and I hope it inspires some of you. I was born in a little town in Oyo State, here in Nigeria, some years ago. And when I was around 7 years old, my parents separated. My dad, my mom, none was educated. My grandparents, nobody was educated. And I have four elder siblings. None of them finished secondary education. But after that, my parents separated, I started living with my maternal grandparents. I was brought up in a farm environment and I didn't have access to a lot of things. But after finishing my secondary school education in 2007, God sent an angel to me. That person by the name Prince David Adeoye. He just came all the way from Ibadan to our town, and he heard about my results that I got. I had a good result in SSCE. And when he came, he just talked about education, talked about life, and he encouraged me to give it a try. And I decided to give it a try. Immediately after my secondary school, I started working as a sales boy in a Tokumbo tire shop. Okay, so and the little money I was able to gather, I used it to obtain the jam form. I didn't have the opportunity to attend what they call the jam coaching center or something of that nature. I just bought past question and answer series and I was practicing it. But there was something about me, and that was the determination. If I have decided to do something, I give it all that is within me. So after that, I wrote the jump. I scored good score, and I put in for pharmacy at the University of Ibadan. And to God be the glory, I was given the admission, and I started my year one. In my year one, no food, nothing. My food revolved around rice, beans, yam, gari, and of course, nobody to call at home to send money to you or something. For the first 7 weeks of my first semester, I was sleeping on empty bunk because I couldn't afford a mattress. Life went on like that, and after the first year, I didn't have hope of where the next tuition will come from because the first year tuition was paid by the little I was able to save while working as a sales boy. So this time around, I decided to do odd jobs to get some money to pay for my school fee for year two. I decided I could ride an Okada, so I decided to ride Okada. I just hired a bike and I was paying the person, the owner of the bike, and that was how I was able to gather some money to pay for my year two, year three, year four, and year five school fee at the University of Ibadan, studying pharmacy. Almost all my sessional and mid-sessional break, I'll spend it riding bike. Okay, so life went on like that. And of course, I'm being purpose driven. I could remember when I was around 10 years old, I began to ask question. There's a scripture in the book of Proverbs that I read very early in life. I think Proverbs chapter 16, verse 22. It says, understanding is a fountain of life to those who have it. I decided to understand life and give it what it takes and let life make sense. And I don't want to end like people who came before me. So at the age of 10, I began to ask myself some questions. The first question I asked myself, I said, do I really belong here? Do I really belong here? In my environment, people believe that university education is not for poor people's children. But I decided not to buy into that ideology. Second question I asked myself, I said, must I end like people before me? As I said earlier, I'll be the first to have secondary education in my family. Not even my parents are educated. Okay, so the third question I asked myself, can I do better? Can I do better? Some of my older siblings went to learn tailoring, went to learn vulcanizing, and things like that, trading. But I asked myself, I could be better. I could do better. And the fourth question I asked myself, what are my excuses? And I discovered that I may have 1,001 reasons to fail in life. I do not have a single excuse. And that is why I take my life in my hands. So school went like that. I began to have miss my spend my sessional break riding bike. I was able to save money. I was able to pay for my school fees, and I was able to graduate from the University of Ibadan studying pharmacy. And to the glory of God, 40 of us graduated during my set in 2014. Out of the 40, we have about 6 departments. I was the overall best student in 2 out of the 6 departments. I graduated with a CGPA of 6.5 out of 7.0. Okay, and I have distinction in pharmacy. Okay, so and after my first degree, I put my story in writings and I titled the book Pushing the Limits from riding Okada to graduating with a distinction in pharmacy. Okay, so this is my story in this a book. Okay, so after my first degree, and I finished my internship, I finished my service. The University of Ibadan gave me a scholarship to do my master's degree in pharmacy, which I finished in 2019. And out of more than 3,600 graduates of the University of Ibadan in 2019 November, I came overall third, graduating with CGPA of 6.9 out of 7.0. Okay, so and from there, I started my PhD immediately. And after spending like a year working on my PhD at the University of Ibadan, the United Kingdom government, the UK government, gave me a fellowship, a PhD fellowship, to go to the city of Liverpool in the United Kingdom, where I completed my PhD research at the Liverpool John Moore University in the UK. Okay, that's my story in short. That's my story in short. And I have learned a lot from my story. And I want to believe that you too have been inspired from my story. Okay, from my story, I've learned that your background should not put your back on the ground. The fact that your parents are poor does not mean you should end up a beggar. The fact that in your family nobody has graduated in a university before, does not mean that you should become an illiterate. The fact that your parent cannot sponsor you even to the university, as I did not have anybody sponsoring me through the university, does not mean that you should not go to school. The fact that our society seems not to reward hard work and merit is not an excuse for you to allow your backbone to put your back on the ground. So there are powers within you. If you are ready and you are determined to release them, and they can work wonders in your life. So I have learned that your background, no matter how poor you may be, your background should not put your back on the ground. Another thing I've learned from my story is that the worst thing that can happen to you in life is not your poor background. The worst thing that can happen to you in life is your poor belief, is your poor attitude to life. If you can have a soaring attitude to life, you will fly one day. It's just a matter of time. People will gather around you to serve you one day. It's just a matter of time. I've come to understand that the limitations that our minds place on our possibility in life is much more greater than the limitations placed on our possibility by our environment. We think our environment is our greatest enemy. But in this part of the world, I've come to understand that it is our mind that places the heaviest limitation on our possibility. I've learned from my story that you never give up, never lose hope, because everything dies when hope dies. Everything dies when hope dies. If you still have hope, then you have a brighter future. If you still have hope, then you have a brighter future. I've learned from my story that you are more responsible for the outcome of your life more than your father or your mother or your uncle or your aunts. Some of us depend so heavily on our father, on what my father can do for me. Oh, and you bring out excuses out of that because your father could not provide you school fee. You say, oh, I'm no more going to school. No. The earlier you understand this, the better for you. That you are more responsible for the outcome of your life. You are more responsible for how your life eventually.
Thank you everyone for attention. Is saying that you are more responsible for your life than average of any other person, right? Our ladies still have our ladies, I mean constraint rather, to come over here, and we feel that the
Hello, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Ndigbo Youth Education and Entrepreneurship Summit. It's such an amazing honor to have hosted you. In absentia, my name is Oluwatoyin Angelo Chukwemeka, and I'm the founder of One Foundation, and I'm also a speaker for this session. I'm going to be talking about how you can convert your personal and academic abilities to social entrepreneurship. And this is a conversation that is really dear to my heart. It's extremely dear to my heart, and I'm just excited about the opportunity to be able to share with you. And yeah, from my name, you probably already tell that I have connections to the Igbo people himself. Igbo people, I'm so sorry for pronouncing that wrong. I am a married woman. So yeah, so my husband is Igbo, my family, so I technically think of myself as a mixture of Yoruba and an Igbo person. Yeah. So welcome again. And so we're talking about converting your academic to social entrepreneurship. I already told you my name. I'm an education researcher. I'm a startup advisor. I work with, I founded One Foundation, the host of this program, in partnership with the City University. I'm a policy consultant and I do some executive coaching also. So this topic sits right in the center of my expertise, particularly bringing education and entrepreneurship together. Okay, so I'm going to make this session as short as possible so that, I know you're watching this on the screen. So you don't have to get too glued to this game for a long time. All right. Yeah. So the way I like to start is to start with this question. Why are you going to school? Why are you in this university if you're a student? And if you're not, and maybe you got to know about this program somewhere else, if you've ever been to the university or you aspire to go to one, why? That's my question now. Why? Why do you want to go to the university? What is so important about going to school? Why is it something that we try to do? Could you take a few minutes to think about that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Have some answers yet? I imagine some people, if I was there, I would have asked people in person. So I imagine some people probably say they're going to school to get jobs, they're going to school to, all of those kind of things. But I'll be providing some kind of both research perspective, a mixture of research perspective and also some anecdotal perspective as someone who works in these two worlds. There are a couple of things that research has shown as a goal of education. The people who started formal schooling, in quotes, I hope you know that it was started. It wasn't as if we brought it from everyone. Universities and things like that, and polytechnics and secondary school and primary school was started by some people, and they had wonderful ideas for why they started it. There was at least, about some centuries ago when formal school started, there was an understanding of what it was supposed to deliver. So there are a couple of goals that sociology researchers, for example, have shown as the goal for schooling, but I will just put some of these things to a few that are paramount to our conversation here today. So there's the part of the goal of education being intellectual capacity. Intellectual capacity basically is really an issue of being able to think. I lectured in university for about 2.5 years before starting my PhD in education. And I remember that I always say to my students, the goal of you being in any class, the goal of you being in any school is actually to cultivate your ability to use your mind. It's because we have a conviction that you have the capacity of thought, you have the ability to think. You feel think. Like, you get brain. That's the reason why you're in school. because you get brain already. It's not school that will make you get brain. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You already get brain. That's why you are here. What school is trying to do is to help you unlock that brain. So imagine your capacity as something that is a gift, an iPhone 15. That's the new iPhone right now, right? Imagine I give you an iPhone 15. Usually, when I give you a brand new iPhone 15, I put it in it's all packed, it has nylon, all of those kind of things. To actually use it, you have to remove it, right? Put it on, install apps. That's exactly what school is trying to do for you. You already have the capacity. It's just to really help you grow it, to grow your capacity of thought, to be able to think deeper, to be able to do things. Do you understand? To be able to think deeper, to be able to analyze things, to be able to find cause and effect, to be able to see things in your normal world and understand why they are the way they are, and how to get them to even be more than they are right now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? The second goal is social efficiency. Is basically your ability. Social efficiency is basically your ability to be useful to your society. Social efficiency is that you contribute productivity to the society. You contribute economic output. You contribute socio-economic output. So what you do in your job or in your business or whatever you do, because you were educated, is supposed to contribute to the entire development of the entire nation. So when we're talking about things like GDP and all of that, what you are doing in your corner contributes to that. And that's what education is supposed to do for you, to help you to be able to contribute even more. To help you to be able to contribute even more. The third one is around civics participation. And I'd like to point this out because I feel like in recent times, people always think education is just about them. The knowledge that you are gaining is not just for you, it's to make you an active participant in your society. It's to make you someone who can contribute, who has the capacity, who has do you understand? Capacity is the word. The knowledge, the ability, the creative ability to make a difference in their society. So education is actually meant for civic participation, to raise responsible citizens, to raise people who can put their hands together to build a community, a local community, to build a family, because that's where a community starts from, right? To build a family, to build a community, to build a nation, to build a continent. And this is how I want you to think about your education. So the question you start asking yourself is, your schooling right now, how is it helping you to develop your capacity of thinking? In the last how many years that you've been in school, how much has your capacity to think, to analyze, to effectively produce things, original thought, original things and all of that, how much has it grown? How much have you been able to contribute to your society? How much have you been able to become more conscious of your role in the larger society and even the smaller society? Now, let's talk about social entrepreneurship. That's the second side, right? That's the second side of our idea. Social entrepreneurship is just a nice word that has become nice language right now. But honestly, it's not that deep. What is entrepreneurship? Let's start from that. Most people think of entrepreneurship as businesses, right? Creating businesses, making profit. And that's beautiful. But the reason why we started putting social now at the back of it is to show that the idea of entrepreneurship, where you're trying to, make profit, build business and all of that, but it's done from a standpoint of trying to solve a problem in a society, trying to address a cultural matter, a social matter, something that is holding people within a certain society back. A good example, for example, if you know about bigger companies like, say, Paystack, Flutterwave, if you heard about those kind of companies, you know that their goal was, it is a business, but it's a social entrepreneurship, social business, a social enterprise, because they are tackling the problem of Africans, generally Nigerians and Africans, not being able to sell goods beyond their local environment. So what Flutterwave, for example, is doing is such that I can put my product I can put it on a place and you can buy it there and I get it delivered to you. Do you see? So we don't have to meet for you to be able to get my product. That's what things like Instagram, Facebook, they're trying to do. Facebook started out trying to just solve the problem of people being able to communicate within a university. Actually, I don't know if many people know that Facebook started as a university project. within a university, people trying to communicate within a university, and it grew, it went to other universities, and before we know it became what we became today. So social entrepreneurship is basically the way my executive director likes to think about it is simple. Is the business of making impact and profit. You are trying to repatriate people's life while making a profit. And they don't have to be antithetical. By antithetical, I mean they don't have to be opposites. They don't have to mean that you either care about people or you care about money. No. Social entrepreneurship is the beautiful place that brings both of them together, where you can help people solve their problem while actually building profit for yourself too. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? So the question is, let's begin to think about this together. How does these two things connect? What link are you seeing between education and social entrepreneurship? Remember, I already talked about how education is a place where you increase your capacity. You are able to contribute to your society, and you are able to, become a more responsible citizen in your society. You're able to think about society as a place that you're supposed to contribute to. Can you begin to see that they are not that far apart? When you begin to think of education as something that equip you to be able to not just get a job, but really think and be able to solve a problem in your society, you see that it's actually a pathway towards social entrepreneurship. It is a pathway. They are not two different things. This idea that, either some people want to do business or they want to go to school, it doesn't have to be. In fact, education is supposed to grow you towards that. It's supposed to grow your capacity towards that. Going to school is supposed to grow your capacity towards being able to solve a problem in society that you can probably make money from. And this is not me trying to advocate that everyone that go to school have to go into entrepreneurship in the sense of starting a business. But one way or the other, everyone that goes to school have to be able to think entrepreneurially, which is part of the reason why we do the program that we do. Our understanding of entrepreneurship has gone beyond just starting a business to being able to think in terms of value creation. Either you are the one that started the business or you are an employee within the business. You can think. You can see something within the, say for example, you are an employee and there's an issue within the business. You are able to think and say, oh, I can solve this. Oh, I am able to see this. That's what we're talking about. Do you see how they link? Education is a pathway, actually. It's supposed to be a pathway to social entrepreneurship. But you and I know that maybe right now it doesn't feel that way. There's this detach, as if people go to school just for certificate, and after they are done, they are not thinking, so what will I do with my life? It doesn't have to be that way. And that's the goal of this conversation, is to help you see how do you begin to convert your being in school, your academic ability, to social entrepreneurial abilities. How should you begin to do school in a way that empowers you to become a social entrepreneur? That's our conversation here. Do you see? Okay. So the question here is, how do you convert? How do you convert your academic capacities, your academic abilities, the things you are doing in school to social entrepreneurship? And trust me, my answer to this question is not going to be go and start a business. No, I actually would prefer to give you tools with which you can use regardless of where you are. I would not say, okay, if you're in pharmacy, you should start selling drugs on how to make drugs. That's not the kind of answer I'm planning to give here. I'm not trying to give a specific answer that is only applicable to specific people in a specific field. I'm trying to give an answer that can become a tool in the hand of anyone. So how do you convert all of this time that you're spending in school? How do you make them also grow your capacity to become someone who can think entrepreneurial? Remember, when I talk about social entrepreneurship, I'm not limiting to the people who want to start business. So in case you feel that, I'm not interested in businesses, and you think, oh, this conversation is not for me because I know they do entrepreneurship, it is for you, because regardless of if you are doing entrepreneurship as a business owner or not, if you want to actually be a value creator, even within another person's business as an employee, you still need to be able to think and create value. Think about it. Imagine that you are the one that has a business and you have two people. One just want to come into the business and let you, come as your employee and say, tell me everything that you need me to do, and I will do it. Or one want to come in and say, don't just tell me what I need to do. I want to look into these things myself and see, I can, and see ways I can do it better. Which of the two will you employ? Of course, the second one, because everybody wants someone who creates value. Everybody wants someone who is able to do a lot with little, and that's the goal here. So regardless of either you are going to start a business as an entrepreneur, or you are planning to have a career, an employee and all of that, as an entrepreneur, this conversation is for you. So how do you convert your academic abilities to social entrepreneurial abilities? I have a just to make this conversation short, I thought of talking about it in 3 ways. I want you to think of your academics right now in 3 ways. Number one, I want you to think about bridging connections between your academics and social entrepreneurship. Number two, I want you to see connections. Number three, I want you to try ideas, and I will explain what each of them means. About bridging connections, how do you bridge connection? What I mean here is really an issue of mindset. It's an issue of understanding that what you're doing in school right now is able to prepare you for the world that you are going into, either as a business owner or not. And it's very important to start from the mindset, because from my experience as a person and what I've seen, even as a coach and all of that, I've seen that everything rises and falls on people's mindset first. However they are thinking about something is how they will continue to see it. I'm telling you, is that powerful? So what I'm trying to say here is simple. I need you to have a mindset that bridges both worlds, that quit thinking of your school and your life as two different things, that keep looking at your school, your academics, and the things that, the things you are doing in class and the things that you are hoping to later do in life as two different things. Because I see that it's a growing issue right now among young people. And honestly, to be honest, I don't blame us, because, there's just a sense of, you probably even hear things like school as scam and all of that. I'm telling you, it's not true. And even if the system right now is not doing that work well for you, I'm hoping that Coast City University is doing a great job at that. But even for whatever reason, if you are in a system that is not doing that much for you, I'm telling you that you can take the power yourself. You can decide that I want to ensure that all the things I'm doing for the next 3-4 years in university, polytechnic, wherever I am, will count for my future. So you have to carry that mindset that I want to ensure that this thing connects. You see the image that I use. I want to ensure that you see this person, this one with the graduation cap, can connect with this. There is not two different things. That's the first place. It is something that you need to tell yourself again and again, that this thing will connect for me. It will connect for me. Being in school right now will not be a waste of time. It will not just be just to get certificate and go. It will help me. It will build me. Do you understand? It will help me it will equip me for the kind of value I'm able to create. So when you bridge that connection first in your mind, and you stop thinking about these two things are two different things, as when we are not done in school, let's not think about what we want to do in the world. When you remove that kind of mindset, the next thing becomes easy. The next thing then is seeing the connection. And by seeing the connection, I mean deliberately making the connection. And how do you do that? I need you to make connections between your environment and your academics, and your academics and your environment. And sometimes it starts in simple, very simple things. You are doing statistics, for example. You are doing statistics. Think about, how does statistics apply in your community? For example, what percentage of people go to school in your community? And why do the people go? How is that connected to the amount of money their parents have? That's already statistic. Do you see? This thing is not that serious. And you might wonder, but how does that really? The point is that at least you are beginning to see it. See it from the smaller things. When you begin to see it from the smaller things, you are able to see it in the bigger things. And I don't want you to wait for your lecturers or your teachers to do this. I want you to be the one to, and that's why I started with mindset. Remember, I want you to be the one to consciously decide that I'm going to see my environment in my academics. I'm going to see the world of work in my academics. And that's why you need to know what is happening in your environment. Read about the news. What is the government doing right now? What are they doing in your community? Whatever industry you're interested in, what is happening in those industry right now? Go on LinkedIn. People write about things that are happening. Think about those things in context of the things you are doing in class. Ask questions in class like, oh, so I'm doing medicine, and you say so things. But I read online that, do you see? I read online that, this kind of disease is now this kind of disease, is now this kind of disease. How does that apply to what you are teaching us now? Ask questions. If they don't connect it for you, connect it. Be the one. Take this thing, take the bull by the horn and connect it for yourself. I want you to take your environment as a tool for your study. Take your environment as a tool for your study. Look into your environment. Look again into your community and ask yourself, what in this community can I use to make sense of what I'm learning? And what about what I'm learning can be useful within this community? If you think a little deeper about it, you begin to find it. I need you to consciously see these connections. It's a conscious thing. You have to consciously see it. I remember an example that was, a quick example that came to my mind was some couple of students that I knew who were computer science students and who, I'm trying to remember the story very well. I think it was something about how they helped with one of their lecturer to build an app. They actually helped the lecturer to build an app that helps students, I think something about a language app that help sort of convert languages. So the point is, what the point I'm making is, the things that happen in your environment can become tool for your study, and the things that happen in your study can become tool to better understand your environment. But you need to make the connection first. Stop thinking about them as two opposites. They are not. They are not opposite things. Okay, I need to start wrapping this up. The last thing is to try things out. Try things out. It goes without the saying. Try out ideas. Try out ideas. Don't be afraid. Try things out. Something's in your head. One nice idea is in your head. Try it out. Do you know that starting one foundation was me trying things out? It was. And see what trying things out have done. Is why we are here today, why we're having this conversation in the first place. Try things out. I want you to be courageous. They taught you about the example I just gave. They taught them about coding, and they realized that, people abroad always try to teach their children maybe local languages and all of that, and they are not able to, because of course, when you're in these kind of places, abroad that I am right now, you don't see people speaking your language. For example, I met a Nigerian yesterday here because I was passing by and I was hearing somebody speak Igbo. I have to call, like, wait, what? So I mean, the guy, like, is that not Igbo I'm hearing you speak? I was like, oh, do you know Igbo? I was like, I'm Nigerian. And started talking. So because of things like that, those kind of students saw that and they were like, okay, can we develop an app that people can use to teach their children? Because they learned how to code. Do you see? Just try things out. It doesn't matter if it fails or not. The important thing is that you're trying. And when I say try things out, it doesn't always even have to mean that you have to have great ideas yourself. Other people can have their great ideas, volunteer, collaborate with them, from groups. There are so many organizations now, non-profit, join them. Find a non-profit that aligns with maybe something you are studying or something you're interested in. Go there, try things out. Try things out. That's how you grow. That's how you even grow your ability to be able to bridge this connection and to be able to see this connection. As you try your hands at things, you begin to have experiences that makes the things you are learning in class make sense. Do you see? Because experience is a teacher, is a knowledge source. We used to say experience is a teacher, and we used to keep it to social conventions, like experience the teacher as if something bad happened. Experience the teacher also to technically in academics, because the things you learn by trying things out help you make sense of the things you are learning in class theoretically. So try things out. So I'm going to end this now with this quote by Michelle Obama. It says, empower yourself with a good education and then get out there and use that education to build a country worthy of your boundless promise. Let me read that again. Empower yourself with a good education and get out there. Use it. Use it. Use it. Use it. That's the point. That's how to create a forward-thinking mindset. A forward-thinking mindset is a mindset that is, particularly as a student, is a kind of mindset that is insistent on using education in the real world. If they teach you something, begin to ask yourself, how do I use this? And I'm telling you, if you continue to ask yourself, you will find answers. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful, 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 wonderful session. It's such a pleasure to host you again. Thank you.
It was very nice. I learned a lot about, especially the last one, about the future.
Right. Just learn that I should just develop myself, like whatever skill I have, to just develop it just and put it out there.
It was basically about skill development, how you can develop your skills, and should give out like if you have a skill, say it's best to develop it and gives you advice.
So just basically telling us, she was just basically explaining and telling us how we use our education to help ourselves and what we are coming to school to do. Like we should know what we are coming to school to do.
Like to have ideas and try things out, new things. So regardless whether people have done it before, should try. To learn how to work on yourself and also mix it up with your education. She explained the reason and the purpose of why we are in school and the reason why we are going to school. So to have further education for our future.
Okay, she talk about having a collective mindset. Because everything mindset also. Yes. So he said that everything starts from your mind. That's it.
Is the issue of making our environment as a tool. Our environment is actually the most important because in our environment there are a lot of things that need to be harnessed, that we need to use. So the idea of making and utilizing our environment is paramount in getting things done. So that is what I draw from what she spoke.
What you like in here.
Okay, even though I just came a little bit late, I learned that converting our academics to social entrepreneurship is essential because it helps us as students not just to come to school to learn, but to use our skills that we learn from school to develop ourselves in the field of entrepreneurship.
And now we should go and try to see connections.
Okay. I think it's really an interesting session we've had from the first speaker I met down to the third. Um, I think beginning from my immediate environment, using it as a prototype, um, I can use that to start by unleashing whatever it is that I have within me with regards to my um, my educational background. Because I think I heard the speaker say that school has a way of unleashing your potentials, and you just start with your immediate environment with that which you have in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Those are amazing feedbacks. All right, so I think one of the things that I heard particularly from the session was that you have a brain already. Your school is not coming to give you a brain. It's already there. You just need to. So I am of the. I think we can safely conclude that if you are not productive, it's because you are not engaging your brain. If you engage your brain, it's already there and it has a lot of capacity, more than you know. So you just need to engage your brain. I want you to do like this. My brain is here. Everybody, everybody, my brain is here. Everybody, my brain is here. And I will use it. And I will use it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tolu. Yeah, just a kind of quick update. The generator, the man in charge of Gen said in the next 10 minutes he's going to on the generator. I think that is an update. Before then, let's use this background to take a picture. And then, can we do that now? Hello, sir. Just 5 minutes. Yes. So, let's start in the beginning. Let's start in the beginning. Please, let's follow. Let's follow. One more, one more. Okay. Okay. This is afternoon, and then thank you for being here all the while. We'll be here since yesterday, and you will realize that I introduced some partners, I mean some collaborators. CCU is taken as a major partners because of the place where we're using and all the offering. And then we have some collaborators. One of them is Soul.io, who have been with us. And then we have a Nigeria Baptist Convention as a body who are also with us. And we have a representative here who definitely we have to treat as representative of the president of the Nigeria Baptist Convention, because we have to write the president and then they responded from the office. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm always happy being with young people. I'm still young, but there's something I just noticed when I entered this place. I just saw myself as one old man. You understand what I mean? I'm still young, but when I entered here, I saw myself as one old man. You know why? No, last time I entered the university environment was 2013 when I rounded up my master's. So I was like, you're becoming old, but I'm still young. So what I want to tell you is, the Nigerian Baptist Convention, we are a lot of youths. In fact, we tried something for the first time, Arise Cosmos this year, and we had over 22,000 youths gathered. It was awesome to us. And it is there we saw a space that we needed to cover. Because without entrepreneurship, like my auntie that is saying, without you doing something for yourself, you always complain that the country is bad. I will tell you, this country is not bad. Are you getting what I'm saying? We have challenges, and it is me and you that will solve those challenges. And one good thing that you must look at is the population of the country. The first presenter, I listened to him keenly. The second one also, I listened to him keenly. The third one, I listened keenly. And we are just stressing one thing. One, your environment matters. God brought all of you together. I think majority of the people here are in the same school, right? God brought you in this community. Please relate with each other. Network, because your network is a part of your network. The more people you know, the more money you make. You don't know people, you will not make money. So for your business to thrive, you meet people. So don't believe in isolation. And don't believe you know it all. When my brother was saying, talk to your brain, I was also talking to my brain. You understand me? Because I need to learn at all times to be where I want to be. If you stop learning, start dying. So everything they are doing here, I want to really thank you people so much. Everything they are doing here, take it serious and don't let it stop here. I didn't come here to talk, I came to learn. And I will tell you, I'm still going home with something. My name is Joshua. I want to end with that. Chinemeze. I just handed over as the investment and strategy chair of Nigerian Baptist Convention Youth. And I've been a senior general manager of my company for a very long time. I've worked over 5 companies, and I can easily port because I have something to give. Are you getting what I'm saying? I've worked with multinational, I've worked with Nigerian companies, I've worked with regional companies, and I still have mine. I'm JVC consult. I train people
on agriculture. I'm an animal scientist. So I train people on livestock and all that, and I employ personnel for establishments. But I still believe we are running somewhere. I get what I'm saying. So please make use of this time and enjoy your stay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I enjoy your training. Relate.
Okay. Okay, please, in the kind of appreciating our partner, collaborator who has been here, he traveled down all the way. We want to have some few words with you about this organizational from hello? Can you set it down?
I think for those who I work so my name is Manu. So I money. Simply as you see, transact safely when you buy or selling on social media. So I'm sure I don't know maybe it's but there are cases where you go to buy something on Instagram, so Instagram, and then you reach out to vendor and eventually you send money that you paid for. So I'm not sure if that happens to us. That is what we are trying to solve. If you go to someone.io, which is here, someone.io, so people will do social media and then ensuring that you get what you order. So the safety works by and when you receive your goods, that is when so that is when you need money to the vendor. So it's not a place where you pay the vendor. So you make the payment to show that you are committed to buying the vendor. So someone now handles the process of the escrow. When we follow the escrow until we get to the product that you requested from the vendor. And that is when so you can check us out at so.io and you can follow us on social media platforms at Sanwo_IO. Or if you are curious about anything regarding Sanwo, you can mail us at i@sanwo.io and you can copy me email at ali@sanwo.io. If you have any questions,